Someone says your name. So, what do you think? And every thought you have ever had quietly leaves the building. You know this. You had opinions 4 seconds ago, you had a whole personality. And now there is nothing in your head but a soft hiss, like a radio between stations, and 5 faces waiting for you to say something that sounds like a competent adult. So you buy time the worst possible way. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good question. It is not a good question. It is a normal question, but your mouth is now stalling for the brain, and the brain has left a note that says, back in 5 minutes. And here is the part that actually stings. 20 minutes later, in the parking lot, alone, the perfect answer arrives. Fully formed, articulate, devastating. Thank you so much for coming, it says. Where were you when I needed you? So you decide the problem is you. You're just not quick, you're not a natural. Some people think on their feet, and you think in the shower, 9 hours late. And I need you to hear this before we go one sentence further. That story is wrong, and believing it is the exact thing that keeps it happening. Because your mind didn't go blank because you're slow or shallow. It went blank because a specific switch flipped in the half second after you heard your name, and that switch has almost nothing to do with how smart you are. It's a tell, and right now it's telling the room the wrong thing. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what the freeze is, why the smartest person in the room often blinks the hardest, 5 things you can do the instant it happens, and one small phrase that buys you all the time you need without sounding like you're stalling. That last one is the one to hold on to. And look, if this only happened when your boss cornered you, you could just avoid your boss and live a long, blank-free life. But it doesn't only happen there. It's the interview, where tell me about yourself turns you into a person who has apparently never met yourself. It's the toast you were asked to give, where you open your mouth and produce the words, so yeah. It's the argument you lose in real time and win flawlessly in the shower the next morning. It's the moment a stranger asks what you do and you forget briefly what you do. Same brain, same you, who is genuinely competent when nobody is watching. Switched off at the exact moment it counted. And it costs you more than a bad 10 seconds, because people don't remember the answer you eventually gave. They remember the pause. The room reads the freeze as no opinion, or not sure, or not that sharp, and it files you there, and next time the hard question goes to someone else. You get quieter because speaking up feels like walking back onto the ice that already cracked once. And the less you do it, the worse the freeze gets. It's a loop, and left alone, it tightens. So let's take the freeze apart and then let's break it. Because it's not a personality flaw. It's a reflex, and reflexes can be retrained. First we kill the myth because the myth is what keeps people stuck for years. The myth is that the people who answer instantly are simply smarter, or quicker, or more confident, and you got handed a slower processor. So the advice you get is useless. Just relax, just be confident, just say the first thing that comes to mind. Which is a fantastic plan, except the entire problem is that at that exact moment, nothing is coming to mind, and just relax to a frozen brain is like yelling, just float, at someone who is drowning. Here's the truth that flips it. The freeze is not a lack of intelligence. It is very often a sign of too much. The people who blank the hardest are frequently the ones with the most to say because their brain isn't empty, it's overloaded. It grabbed for the perfect, complete, defensible answer, found 40 options, panicked at the size of the search, and returned nothing. A less careful person just says the first okay thing and looks decisive. You went looking for the best thing and came back with static. So this was never about getting smarter. You're already smart enough, that was never the problem. It's about getting your brain to hand you something usable in the 2 seconds that matter, instead of the perfect thing in the parking lot. And that is a mechanical fix. Okay. Here's the part nobody actually explains. This is the engine of the whole video. The instant you feel evaluated, your brain does a threat assessment, and it does it faster than thought. Being watched, judged, put on the spot, that registers, at a very old level, as danger. And when your brain flags danger, it does something ruthless and efficient. It pulls resources away from the slow, clever part of you, the part that finds words and weighs ideas, and it hands them to the fast part, the part that just wants to survive the next 10 seconds. Blood, attention, everything rerouted to threat. That is the blank. That soft hiss in your head is not the absence of thoughts. It is your working memory getting quietly evicted so the alarm system can use the room. The exact tool you need to answer the question is the tool that just got switched off by the question. So the freeze is not a bug, it's your brain protecting you from a lion. The problem is, there is no lion. There is a guy named Kevin asking about the Q3 numbers, and your nervous system is treating Kevin like a lion. And here's the tell, the thing the room is actually reading. It's not the silence itself. A confident person pauses all the time. It's what your face and your voice do during the silence. The darting eyes, the little apologetic laugh, the sorry, that leaks out, the tiny flinch that says, I've been caught. That is the signal that gets you filed as unsure. The freeze is invisible. The panic about the freeze is what everyone sees. Which means the fix is not to never blank. Everyone blanks. The fix is to change what you do in the 3 seconds after, so the freeze stops broadcasting fear and starts looking exactly like a competent person thinking. So here's the fix. 5 things. You can run every one of them tomorrow. 1. Buy the time out loud, on purpose. The silent panic is the killer, because silence plus a scared face reads as no answer. So fill it with something calm and deliberate. Good question. Give me a second on that. Say it like you own the pause, because now you do. You just converted a freeze into a choice. Nobody can tell the difference between a person thinking and a person dying inside unless you tell them and, sorry, tells them. 2. Answer the category before the details. Your brain froze because you asked it for the whole essay at once. Don't. Start with the shape. There are basically 2 issues here. You don't even fully know the second one yet. Doesn't matter. The structure is a shelf, and the second you build it, your brain starts putting things on it. Talking is not the reward for thinking. For you, talking is how the thinking starts. 3. Reset the body because the freeze is physical. Feet flat, 1 slow breath out, unclench the jaw. You are sending your nervous system a single message: no lion. It sounds too simple to work, which is exactly why people skip it, and it's the fastest way to get the smart part of your brain back online. 2 seconds of exhale beats 20 minutes of parking lot genius. 4. Lower the bar in the moment. Raise it later. You do not owe the room the perfect answer right now. You owe it a clear one. Say the good enough version out loud, then, if you want, let me come back to you with the full picture. That last line is not a retreat. It's the single most senior thing you can say, because only people who are not scared offer to continue the conversation. 5. Preload your blanks. Most on-the-spot moments are not surprises. You know the meeting has a round the table. You know interviews ask about your weaknesses. You know the wedding has a toast. So write your 3 go-to answers to the questions you always freeze on, once, calmly, at home, and now future you is walking in with the answer already in the chamber. Improv is just preparation people can't see. Now notice what none of that was. None of it was be quicker. None of it was have the perfect answer ready. Every single one was about what you do with the silence, not how you kill it. Because the pause was never the thing hurting you. Watch anyone genuinely senior get asked a hard question. They stop. They actually take longer than you do. They let a real silence sit there, and the room leans in, because a calm pause reads as wait. You had the pause all along. What you didn't have was permission to look calm inside it. You kept apologizing for the one thing that, done without fear, makes you look like the most composed person at the table. You don't need a faster brain. You need to stop treating a normal question like an ambush. The answer was always going to come. The only thing you're changing is what your face is doing while it does. So, next time someone says your name and the room turns and you feel that familiar switch start to flip, you don't fight it. You take the breath. You say, good question, give me a second, and you mean it. You give the shape before the detail, and you let the silence sit there, calm, like a person who has been asked things before and survived. And the room does the thing it was always going to do. It waits. It leans in, because it turns out they were never judging the pause. They were judging the panic, and you just stopped sending it. The answer shows up, right on time, in the room this time, instead of the parking lot. And here's the small favor I'll ask, because it genuinely helps this channel more than you'd think. If this made your last 10, so what do you think moments suddenly make sense, hit like. It tells the algorithm to show this to the next person quietly freezing in a meeting. Subscribe, because we take one of these silent workplace disasters apart every week. And in the comments, tell me the exact question that makes you blank every single time, the one you still don't have an answer for, and I'll build a future video around the ones that come up the most. That's the whole fix. The freeze is going to happen. You're just going to stop being afraid of it, out loud, where everyone can see. Own the pause, and it stops being a tell.